Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. This is my lovely best friend's face, Dominique. She was nice enough to let me use her to do a tutorial today. So I started off with the Hard Candy Primer. This is the pore and line blurring one. Not sure how I like this. It was a little crumbly for me, which was weird. So eventually I just switched to my fingers instead of using that brush. And then she found my Harley Quinn doll. I then took the Revlon Colorstay foundation. This is the shade 250, which was a little bit too dark for her, so I mixed in some of my Manic Panic foundation mixer in white. And I left her alone for a minute. Then I took a damp sponge and just started blending that in. Then I took a little bit more of that foundation on a buffer brush and just blended that in. Then I took that sponge again and used that to blend that down into her skin. Then with a Real Techniques buffer brush and a little bit of the LA Pro Conceal in the shade Natural, I used that as an under eye concealer and just blended that in, also taking it above her lid to act as an eyeshadow primer. Then I went in with a translucent powder. This is the HD powder from e.l.f. And I also used a big fluffy brush from e.l.f. to dust that all over her face. Then I went in with the NYX Brow Gel in the shade Taupe. Actually, I think it's called Blonde. And just on a small angled brush and used that to fill in her eyebrows. And then we were deciding which color to do for eyeshadow, so I suggested a blue because she has a completely different makeup style than I do. So I thought I'd, bring her out of her box a little bit. Then I applied a little bit of tape right where I want the angle of the eyeliner to lay. And this is the color we went with for the blue. That is Bravery from Colourpop. You can't actually get it anymore, but it was one of my favorite shadows. Then using the BH Cosmetics Modern Mattes palette, I took that kind of warm reddish brown tone and used that as a transition shade. Then to make that blue pop even more, I started with Brulee from Wet n Wild and used that just on the main part of her eyelid. Then I took the Colourpop eyeshadow in the shade Belladonna Lily. This is one of their new shades for the summer 2016 collection. And with a brush, it was a little less pigmented than I want. So I tried wetting it, but then I eventually just put it on with my finger. I then took more of that transition shade and used that to blend it into the blue color. And then I moved on to the blue-brown duochrome that is Bravery from Colourpop, and I placed that all over the lid. Then I deepened up the edge of her eye with that same reddish brown color. Then I took the Maybelline gel liner in black with the smallest eyeliner brush I have ever found, which is from Essence, and I just lined her eyelids. I wanted to make it a really dramatic liner while also keeping it pretty thin so that you could still see the colors on her eyelid. I then had her tight line herself so that I wouldn't be responsible for stabbing her in the eye. And then we got to remove the tape, which is the best part of this. I then took some black eyeshadow and used that to set a bit of the eyeliner while also bringing it to her lower lash line. Then I took a little more of Belladonna Lily on a small fluffy brush and brought that underneath the lash line. And then I took a small amount of the Colourpop shade in Rhinestone, which is more of a dark navy blue, and used that on the outer corners to connect the black with the lighter blue. I then took a little bit more of that concealer. This is actually the Catrice Concealer in 010, and I used that to clean up under the eyes. And then I took that same fluffy brush from Real Techniques and blended that in. I then took the bronzer shade from the St. Lucia duo from e.l.f. and used that to contour a little bit. And then I went in with the blush Luminoso from Milani. Then I used the Mercier highlight, a matte Radiance highlight in 01. And I put that in as many places as I could. I can never really control myself with highlight. And then I did that. Then moving on to lips, I used the Balm matte liquid lipstick in, I believe this is Committed. It's that more muted nude shade, and I used a adorable little lip liner to put that on. Then I went in with a little bit of Midi from Colourpop, just on the center of the lip to brighten it up. And that is the finished look. This was just a bit of fun to, an excuse to hang out and play around with makeup. So I hope you enjoyed this type of video. We might be switching where she does my makeup the way she normally does her own, which should be interesting because I do not use warm colors whatsoever. So if you enjoyed this, let me know, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you for watching. Bye.